Workshop 2, Presenting Lesson Content, Part 1. Welcome back. In the last video, I talked in some detail about the procedures for completing the stages of the workshop. I wanted to do that to highlight the importance of some of the habitual behavior that I hope that you will get participants into the habit of during the session. So things like not shouting out answers, putting their hands up when they want to offer an answer, working quietly individually, working in pairs, working in groups, etc. I will not go into such detail from now on, and I will just look at an overview of what each of these workshops is about. So this one, Workshop 2, Presenting Lesson Content. I shall now go to I'll share the screen so you can see the teacher's guide again. And here it is. So the aim of this workshop is to introduce and practice language for highlighting stages and describing processes. By the end of the workshop, participants will be able to use classroom language to present lesson content and use language and other strategies to help learners understand lesson content. By the end, they will have reflected on their learning, identified areas for further study, and created an action plan. So, same as last workshop, they will create an action plan where they will take ownership of experimenting with ideas from this workshop. So the language, let's go straight into the functional language. Checking understanding is the first area. These are phrases that the teacher will ask the students, or the students might say back to the teacher. So teacher will ask students, what does it mean? What does that mean? The students will ask the teacher, could you repeat that? Can you repeat that for me, please? So these are the phrases that we hope that they will take away from this workshop. Presenting a process. During this workshop, you're going to ask the teachers to present a process. This is a very common thing that we teach in subjects, in geography, in sciences, in all sorts of subjects. You have to talk about a process. First you do this, then you do something else. At the same time, you do something else. The next language area is showing purpose, and they will need a grammatical device called the infinitive of purpose. And the example here, you put your hand up to answer a question. The infinitive of purpose is to answer. Why do you put up your hand? To answer a question. That's the infinitive of purpose. Emphasizing a point. So the teacher at various stages of their lesson might want the students to remember something, to draw attention to something, so needs to say, this is an important point. I want you to remember this. And then vocabulary. So these are general classroom verbs, classroom actions. Put up your hand, answer or ask a question, get out your books, put away your books, etc. So these are the language areas that we hope participants will become more confident in. Remember in the first unit, you drilled the participants, and you will be doing more of that again. So that is where you model a phrase. So you say it and you ask them to repeat it. So you will say, put your hands up, repeat, put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up. So you get them, you say it, they repeat it. And that's drilling. So here is the summary of the workshop. Starts with a warmer, 10-minute warmer, just to get participants into the feeling, get them back into the workshop ambience. Step 2, the overview and lead-in. So to introduce the workshop, its aims, get the participants focused on the topic. So that's 10 minutes. Then checking understanding. So here you're introducing expressions for clarification, checking and clarifying. So 15 minutes on that. Step 4 is about body language. So how teachers can reinforce what they're saying by using body language. So the example is of a science teacher who's describing how food goes down into the stomach. So you'll see pictures of a teacher explaining how things work with only their body language. Step 5, practice describing a process. And so this is where the process language, you will model the process language and get them to repeat. So you're drilling process language. Step 6, the infinitive of purpose. Remember, that is in answer to the question why. Why do students put their hands up? Answer, to answer a question. That's the infinitive of purpose, to answer a question. So 25 minutes in that step to practice the infinitive of purpose. Step 7, peer teaching. So this is a long stage, it's 40 minutes, and you're going to ask the teachers, the participants, to prepare and practice micro teaching a process. And that can be anything, either something that they teach or something general from general life. Could be just making a cup of tea. Describe the process. So this is where you're bringing the language together. They should be using the language which you have introduced in this session. Finally, step 8 is the reflection and review. And once again, and this is the same for every one of these units, they will create their own, they will record useful language, a language that they feel is useful from this session, and they will write an action plan. You can give them 10 minutes for this. Remember, this is the first of 2 units or workshops which focus on language for presenting lesson content, and there will be another one later in the course. Okay, so that is the overview and the summary. The next few pages give detailed instructions on procedures for conducting this session. I'm not going to go through that now, but I will take you to the end to remind you that any resources, there are none. So whenever you need resources, whenever you have to give out any cut-ups, you will find them at the end of the unit, but this unit actually doesn't have any. Okay, so that was Workshop 2, Presenting Lesson Content, Part 1.